Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. So while I'm out here watering my garden, I figured I'd talk to you guys about something that's very applicable right now. Mitigating fire threats, like forest fires, burning, stuff like that. The threat exists, obviously. It's here right now. So what do? Well, there are lots of things you can do to mitigate the threat. What are the threats? Basically, so it's the simple thing is remove the fuel from where the fire can be. As you can see around here, there's a couple pieces of wood here. That's for our having little campfires during the summer. But it's clean around here. The pathways are clean. There's not a lot of brush. Brush is moved back away from the house. This tree right here is a little bit closer to the house, but if I had to, if there was a wildfire threat like right here in the area, I'd just bring my saw out here and I'd just drop that thing if I had to. But so removing burnable material, removing what burns basically is really simple. What are some of the types of fuel? So basically you got vertical fuel, like up here, if this part right here caught on fire and it moved up the tree, that's vertical fuel. Then you got ground fuel. All the stuff like around here on the ground would burn. And then also you have a crown fire. And a crown fire would be burning in the tops of trees. And they move really fast sometimes through the tops of trees. And actually don't burn much down below. They just go through the tops of trees. So that's an area that could be a threat. Look at those kind of things and try to mitigate each of them. The easiest one for us is the ground, of course, and keeping stuff further back from our houses. And with that said, what are some of the most susceptible areas in our house? The roof is a big one, depending on what kind of roof you have. Do you have an asphalt roof, a shingle roof? Do you have tile, like clay? It's like those pottery type things. I forget what it's called. We have a metal roof, so that's that's pretty good because metal is a lot less likely to burn, right, than like wood shingles. That's why they don't really do wood shingles anymore, because the big fire threat. So what else can you do, or what other? Your home and your property areas. You got two main factors. You got the structural ignitability, and you have the defensible space. The structural, and I keep looking down because I took some notes. I don't want to throw you guys wrong and give out bad information. So I want to make sure what I'm doing is right. Structural ignitability. The roof is the highest area. So what can you do? Keep it cleaned off for one thing. Don't let a bunch of pine needles up in there, and your gutters also. Branches, needles, leaves, all that kind of stuff. Keep it all cleaned up. Those are really susceptible. What else is really susceptible? Porches and eaves, overhanging eaves, because those are the things that hang off the house, so they're furthest away from the house. So those are the most susceptible areas for catching on fire. So what can you do those? Keep them clean. Keep stuff back away from them. Trees, bushes, stuff like that. Decks. Yeah, decks ignite before the house. Exterior, siding types. What kind of siding do you have? Do you have stuff that's susceptible to fires or not? And I'm not saying you're going to change your siding type. You may just have to recognize the fact that you have siding that is more susceptible to being burned, so create more of a standoff. Create more of that defensible space. Because that's an important thing to do, and that's basically what the best things you can do is the area outside your house. If you're in an apartment, well, there's only so much you can do. You can't really do much about that. But let's see. Oh yeah, windows. Windows are a weak spot. They are very susceptible to fire damage, for busting in, and then having fire get inside your house. You don't want that. You want to keep it outside your house, obviously. Let me see what else. Decks, windows. Windows are susceptible to heat a lot more than other things because they're made out of glass. So what's defensible space? Defensible space is the area around your house, on your property. So you really want to have clear, completely clear, at least 5 feet out from your house. Completely clear of stuff. Brush. You can have some, maybe some plants and stuff like that that are not very flammable, maybe within that, but you want to mitigate that as much as possible. Some other things you do for house structure is all your vents, like your vents to your crawl space, your vents to your attic space, all the different vents that you have in your house. Make sure that they're in good condition. Replace them if you need to, and clear out any kind of like bird nests, any kind of stuff that's grown in there. Keep it nice and clean. Make sure stuff isn't growing in there. There's not debris in there. That's one thing you could definitely do. And then so like 5 feet, basically, 5 feet, totally clear. Then out to between 5 and 30 feet, you want it pretty much cleared with maybe some low stuff, like this kind of stuff. Your garden. It's not really going to catch on fire because you water it often and stuff. So it's not very flammable. A garden is not very flammable. So that's within 30 feet. Let me see. Yeah, most stuff within 30 feet. Then 30 feet and out, mitigate as much as possible. If you have wooded areas, like we have wooded areas. I showed you in some of my videos in the summertime, we're over here burning stuff in the, just a bunch of old wood, like a lot of it's rotten and stuff like that, in our campfires with the kids. We collect that all the time, which helps keep the woods out behind our house clear. Not a lot of stuff on the forest floor. We try to keep it cleaned up, taken care of. So if a fire does come through there, there's a lot less to burn, a lot less susceptible. As well as keeping track of deadfalls, cutting down dead trees, cleaning them up. All that kind of stuff is very important. And people that live in high wildfire likelihood areas that are high likelihood of wildfires, they know a lot of these things already. But maybe you're in an area that you don't think is susceptible, but it's happening, or it might happen. These are some things definitely right now to think about and to look at for you guys. You may not be thinking about this. So what else do I write? Another thing, if you keep firewood, don't keep firewood within 30 feet of your house. All right, firewood, yeah. Keep firewood 30 feet away from the house, and uphill is the recommendation usually, because you don't want it, the fire, you don't want it down from you, because then it could blow up the hill, the fire. And if the fire is going up the hill, you want it away from you. I'm not a fire expert. This is some research I did, some stuff I know. That's just a recommendation. So uphill. Also, water sources, big thing, right, for fighting fires. Here in the garden, I have this. I have fire extinguishers. I have a couple other hoses also I can hook up with a splitter off my water. So I could have, right now I could have 1, 2, 3, I could have 4 hoses going to put out fires or anything, wet down any areas. That's another thing. If a fire's coming, you may want to, finish cleaning up what you can. If there's anything you can clean up, then clean it up a little bit. If you can't, clean it up necessarily, then start wetting it down. The wetter you can make it, the better. The less likely it is to burn. And another thing with water sources is when the fire department comes. If you don't have, like where I'm at, there's no fire hydrants here because I live rural. There's no rural fire hydrants because there's no city water here. It's all well. Our pump house has a connection that they can hook up to. And then also, what about like ponds, pools, creeks, lakes, anything like that? Make sure the fire department's aware of them and that they know that they exist. When they pull up, let them know where all the sources of water are so that they can, more effectively fight the fire. Pools, ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, I was just talking about that. Okay, so what are some projects for you? What are some things that you can do to put yourself in a better situation to not have to deal with this? All right, some projects. These are things I'm recommending. Thin and prune your trees that are within 30 feet of your house. Like this one. See how it's trimmed up to here, and it's nice and trimmed. We have to keep up on that. We need to trim it some more, probably a little bit now. But yeah, just keep up on stuff like that. Also, remove all slash, deadfalls, and brush within 30 feet of your home as much as possible. And I'm talking just dead stuff, just stuff that doesn't need to be there. I'm not talking about gardening stuff. I'm not talking about your lawn. I'm not talking about your flower gardens or anything like that. I'm talking about dead stuff. Like this, like that would be a dead log, but it's part of my raised bed. But these little pieces of dead wood here, that's just a couple pieces of firewood. You know, obviously we could pick that up really quick. But yeah, mitigate those kind of things. Ensure all your vents in your house are screened properly. Check them right now. Check the condition of them. What condition are they in? Do you need new ones? Do you need to repair them? Are there birds' nests in there you need to remove? Stuff like that. Clean your roof and gutters. That's an easy one. Pretty easy to clean your roof and gutters. That's something you need to be doing anyway for proper function and so it doesn't damage your roof. So make sure that's all clean. Mow your grass. You know, hopefully it's not long. If it's more than 6 inches, then mow it, trim it, something like that. Let me see. Rake up needles and leaves. Anything laying around here. You don't see any stuff laying around here because we keep it swept up. And I'm always picking. You can see like this raised bed here, right here, that one. See, it's got some needles and stuff in there and some little branches I need to pick up because that's something it's a constant battle. We're always picking up stuff. Remove any random debris around your yard. Don't have trash around. Don't have stuff that doesn't need to be there. Real easy, especially flammable stuff. To check your fire extinguishers. That's a common sense thing. That's something you should be doing on a regular basis anyway. Is just keeping up on that. So check your fire extinguishers. Review or create your family response plan. Like your fire drills as kids growing up. I hope you guys, if you have a family, that you have fire drills and that your kids know what to do if there's a fire, where to go, how to escape, where to meet up, like rally points, kind of like where the family meets up if there's a fire. If there's a fire in the front of the house, we meet here. If there's a fire in the back of the house, we meet here. If there's a fire here in the house, we meet here. Have all those things. If you live in an apartment or town, make sure your kids know how to use the fire escapes if you're up on a higher floor, stuff like that. If you're in a 2-story home, make sure you have ways to get out, like rope ladders or just a ladder on the side of the house, some way to get down from up there in case there's no way, in case the way downstairs, like the stairwell, is blocked by fire. Make sure you have a way out. Create a response plan. Make sure that everybody in the household knows what to do and how to do it. This is all very important stuff. So I hope you guys liked the video. Let me pause this for a sec. Hope you liked the video. Hope you got something out of it. It's something that we got to think about right now. And is this timely? Well, we've been going through the wildfires for like almost a week now. So maybe this is a little not timely, but hey, it's still something to think about. Because if you live in those areas, I'm sure you're already taking measures. But even if you're not, take measures. Because there's been a lot of rumors and stuff going on. I know one guy was arrested, arsonists out there. Whether or not they're Antifa or BLM, I don't know. I don't know who it is. I know there are arsonists taking advantage of this and starting fires in a lot of different places. So make sure you're safe, do what you can, and be ready for this threat. So prep a little every day and prep it a peace of mind out of fear. I love you guys, and blessings to you and yours.